Hey guys, welcome back to Tech Phantom, and in this video we are going to take a deep comparison between the Qualcomm Snapdragon 732 processor versus the Snapdragon 768 processor. Now both of these processors you are able to see in the Redmi Note 10 Pro, and the latter one into the iQOO Z3, which is the latest offering from the iQOO, and it has shaken up a bit of the smartphone market under 20,000 with respect to the gaming. So if you like this video and enjoy watching this video, then consider subscribing to our channel Tech Phantom and hit that bell icon and help us reaching out to 1000 subscribers goal. So let's get started. So let's start with the launch date for the both of these processors. The Qualcomm Snapdragon 732G was launched in August 2020, whereas the Snapdragon 768 is the newer one with launching on June 2021. On the CPU architecture, both of these processors are an octa-core, but there is a difference on the build with the Cryo 470 versus the Cryo 475. Next one is the CPU cores with the maximum intense load which both of these processors can take, and with that the Qualcomm Snapdragon 732G can take up to 2 cores of a 2.3 GHz of Cryo 470 Gold and 6 cores of 1.8 GHz of Cryo 470 Silver processor, which are the Cortex A76 and the Cortex A55. Now the 768 has a different one. It has a more power booster core with a one single core of 2.8 GHz Cortex A76, and the rest of the cores to be a 1.8 GHz and the 2.4 GHz. Now processor fabrications comes is the size of the processor, which indeed depends upon how it will play with respect to the battery consumption, and the 732 is a 8 nanometer and the 768 is a more power efficient with a 7 nanometer processor. On the GPU side, for the gaming and the better gaming and how that performs with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 732, it's the Adreno 618, and the 768 get a bump up from the 716 to 620. On the machine learning and the AI, again now the Qualcomm Snapdragon 732 is on the lower side with the Hexagon 688, whereas the latter one has a 698. On the maximum RAM support, you are again going to go with the maximum RAM support of up to 12 GB for the 768, whereas the 732 will support only a 8 GB of RAM of LPDDR4X. On the display support, for the resolution and the high refresh rate, the 732G can support up to a Full HD Plus resolution at 120Hz refresh rate and the HDR10 Plus content, whereas the 768 also performs equally with this refresh rate, but it can support also a QHD Plus display with up to a 60Hz of refresh rate, which is the standard one. On the camera side, we are able to see a 108 megapixel camera on the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max, but the Snapdragon 732G can hold up to a 192 megapixel of a single camera and 22 megapixels of a dual camera setup. With the 768G processor, you can get a 192 megapixel main camera or a 36 megapixel and the 32 megapixels of dual camera. Now on the video compatibility side is the video recording, which you can do a maximum is up to 4K at 30 FPS, 1080p at 120 FPS and 720p at 240 FPS, which is a slow motion. But in the 768 you can take a slow motion up to 480 FPS. On the Bluetooth side, again the Qualcomm Snapdragon 732G has a Bluetooth 5.1, whereas the 768 has the older Bluetooth 5.0. On the 5G modem, the 732 processor is the 4G processor and it has the Snapdragon for the 4G one, and the 768 has the 5G processor. For the Wi-Fi variant, and the Wi-Fi 5 is present on the 732 and the Wi-Fi 6 is present on the newer one, Snapdragon 768G. Quick charging 4 Plus is available on both of these processors, but the Snapdragon 768 do also gives you the power of the quick charge artificial intelligence. Now wrapping up this comparison with the Antutu scores, then the Snapdragon 732 scores at 2,83,000, whereas the Snapdragon 768 crushes the competition with a huge margin. On the Geekbench scores also, the Snapdragon 768 crushes the Snapdragon 732G with a 571 single core and 1812 multi-core for the Snapdragon 732, and the 768 has almost a 700 of a single core and 1973 of a multi-core. Now, what do you think about both of these processors? In my opinion, what I feel is that the Snapdragon 768 is a no-brainer, and it's the processor to go with when you compare both of these smartphones under this price. So what do you think about this smartphones and the processor? I've also mentioned the smartphones which are available with these processor. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the very next one. Thanks for watching.